What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about In the Mouth of Madness. The first point that I want to hit is I just want to talk about my overall thoughts, my overall opinion of the movie, and go into my history with John Carpenter movies because I'm pretty darn sure this is the first Carpenter movie that I'm doing on the channel. So, yeah, basically, like a lot of people, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. He's one of my favorite directors. Of course, the first movie of his that I saw was, Halloween, and then over the years I saw Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and then I didn't really see a lot of his other movies until recently, probably within the last 5 years. But within the last 5 years or so, I really have seen a lot of his other movies and got into a lot of his other movies. And he definitely is one of my favorite directors. I love a great deal of his movies. And that's something that even when I was watching this, I noticed is like I feel like he's one of those directors like you always know you're watching a John Carpenter movie when you're watching a John Carpenter movie, like right right when the music hit and right when the opening credits hit, I'm like, all right, this feels like a John Carpenter movie. I know what I'm getting in for. It's all good. And he does, action movies, horror. He's done some other stuff. Like there's one, I think it's like an Elvis biopic with Kurt Russell. I haven't seen that, but he dabbles in all kinds of different genres. He goes hard. He's killing it. But yeah, like I said, of course I'm a fan of the first three Halloweens. Who isn't? I mean, come on. I mean, some people actually aren't, but what I mean. Like those are classics. Some people don't like Halloween 3, but a lot of people. I'm not the biggest Halloween 3 fan, but I do enjoy it. Some people like are obsessed with it. I think it's awesome, but it's not one of my like absolute all-time favorites in the franchise. But I mean, you got Tom Atkins drinking drinks, hollering at robotic chicks. I mean, what more do you need? But anyways, I'm a big fan of John Carpenter. I've seen so many of his movies, and what's weird is that this is one of the first movies outside of the Halloween franchise that I wanted to see of his. This one really piqued my interest, and this was one of the first ones where I'm like, I have to see that. And weirdly enough, I just never came across it, never got around to seeing it. Of course, I could have just rented it, but that's kind of lame. Like, it would have been cool to, like, find it on DVD. I have, like, a bunch of John Carpenter movies that I would just, like, randomly find on DVD. That's always kind of fun when you're just, like, hunting for some DVDs and Blu-rays. You get, like, a nice come-up, something that you've been trying to see. But yeah, anyways, this one I've wanted to see for the longest time. It was one of the first ones that I wanted to see, and then I kind of just forgot about it for a long time, and then I was able to find it on streaming recently, so I was like, heck yeah, like I gotta check that out. I'm super excited to see it. And here's the thing with any director, even if I love the director, I don't necessarily love all their movies. I just have to put that out there before this review. So with John Carpenter, like I said, he's one of my favorite directors. I love a majority of the movies of his that I've seen, but there are some that I don't like that much. I don't hate any of his movies. Like, all of his movies I can watch and enjoy, but some of them are just okay in my opinion. And this In the Mouth of Madness was that case where it was just okay. I had a decent time with it, but in my opinion, it was pretty underwhelming. It was one of those movies where, you know, I tried to get into it, and it wasn't super engaging, and I was watching it, but I wasn't like, I was just kind of zoning out, you know. It just once I get into my likes, there is a lot that I liked about it, but overall it didn't do it for me, which is disappointing because, like I said, I was excited to see this for a long time. It is a really you know, interesting idea. It has a cool story. So, you know, I just think the execution wasn't all there. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I'm gonna get into a quick little plot summary now. So the main character is John Trent, and he's what is he? I got it in my notes here. He's an insurance investigator, and basically he's tasked to find this author, Sutter Kane, who went missing, and he's just big time. He's like the biggest horror author out there. I think they were saying he's sold like billions of dollars worth of books. But anyways, Sutter Kane has gone missing, and he's working on this unfinished book, and the publishing company, you know, wants the book because the fans are getting restless that he's got these like fanatic crazy fans. That's part of it too. People who read his stuff, they get a little cuckoo, you know. So anyways, the publishing company wants to find Sutter Kane because they're trying to get that money. They're trying to get this book that he's working on. He's disappeared. So this insurance investigator, John Trent, he is tasked to go find him. He reads one of Sutter Kane's books, and he reads a couple, and he like puts the pieces of the covers together, and he finds out it's a map to this destination that's not really on a map, which is called Hobbs End, which is actually a location in the books, and everyone's like, hey, you're not going to be able to find that. That's not a real place. It's not on any map. It's not on state records. Like, this place doesn't exist. But he teams up with this woman. What is her name? Linda Stiles, and she is she's Sutter Kane's editor. So John and Linda go on this trip to find Hobbs End. They do find Hobbs End, and they think it's just a hoax or a publicity stunt because it's like all the characters from the books. But it turns out not to be a hoax. A lot of weird stuff starts happening, and the lines between fiction and reality start to blur. So that's the basic plot right there. Like I said earlier, in my opinion, it's a super unique story. The whole thing. Well, I'm gonna get just a heads up. I'm gonna get into more spoilers here, but it's a unique concept where it's like what is reality? You know, it's like the lines are blurred. It's like he finds out later that, so the main character, John Trent, he finds out that he's just a character in the book, and it's like his whole life is a lie. And it's called, you know, In the Mouth of Madness. Like, he just goes completely insane because it's like, what would you do if you just found out like your entire life is just a lie? Like, everything that he knows, like his entire reality just got turned upside down, you know, like nothing is real. Like, he has no free will. He's just a character. Like, he's just a character in this fictional world. But like, what is fiction? What is reality? They don't even. That's like, they keep talking about that throughout the movie. But like I said, like, that concept is super interesting, super unique. But yeah, like the I don't know, the overall movie, it's just I couldn't get into it. But I did like all that stuff when all the dialogue when they were talking about like what is reality, what is fiction, and then they were like, well, you know, what is sanity? Like if everyone, you know, was insane, that would be the norm, and then would that be sanity? So, you know, interesting stuff. This movie, you know, hit on some interesting stuff, but I just, like I've said it a million times, it just didn't do it for me. But going into stuff that did do it for me, stuff that I did like, I'm actually going to go into my likes right now. So, if you all know John Carpenter movies, you know he pretty much does the score for all of his movies. And he did the score for this one with another person who I do not recall who they were, but I thought the music in this movie was great. It was more like subtle than some of his other movies, but it really, you know, set the tone. It was just enough where like it got you in the mood, but it wasn't anything crazy like the Halloween score. Like it wasn't in your face. Not saying that it's in your face in a bad way. It's just a different type of movies. But music was great. Like I said, the story was great. The practical effects were really good. There were quite a few of like monsters and creatures, and there was this sequence that like kept repeating where uh, John goes in this alley and there all these people like get mutated, and then the one girl, like the editor, she is like walking on all fours and her head is like flipped upside down, so like people get like distorted into these like mutated monster creatures. This one like old lady gets a bunch of like tentacles going on. So the practical effects, all the creature effects were fantastic. I thought, what is the actor's name? So the actor who plays John Trent is Sam Neill. I thought his performance was just amazing. Like when he's going crazy, like it's so believable. Like it's like it's like I said, I'm getting into spoilers here. So at the end, he's just like laughing maniacally, but it's like laughing, like you get the sense that he's like distraught, but he's also like actually like laughing, like he's like amused. Like I don't know, like the way it's hard for me to like explain it, but I don't know, his acting's really good. Like he he pulls off the whole crazy thing very well. It seems super real. I mean, he seems like disturbed when he's like going full on crazy mode. Like it's really good. So Sam Neill's performance was great. And then the last thing that I have here on my likes is they're kind of like a couple of the lines of dialogue. They're like not like making fun, but kind of, yeah, poking fun at horror, and they're talking about the horror books and how it makes people like, you know, feel all nervous or paranoid, and he's like, people pay money to feel like that. So they're kind of like poking fun at the horror genre, even though it is a horror movie. So I thought that was pretty cool. I appreciated that. But that's all I have for my likes. I'm gonna jump into my dislikes now. I don't have that many, but like the dislikes in my opinion were pretty substantial just because like they're big ones. So it was slow, it was boring, it was hard to follow. That could be just because I'm a simpleton, but I was just like there were so many points where I'm like, what is going on? I'm I'm not following, because a lot of stuff would happen where it's like, oh, this character's not real, this didn't happen, now he's back in reality, blah blah blah. It was a little hard to follow for me. And then the last thing that I wrote for dislikes was that it's underwhelming. You know, that was the main thing. Like I said, like everything was there. Like story was cool, good performances, good creature effects, but overall it was underwhelming. I just could not get into it, you know? I hate to say it, but I couldn't get into it. All right. that's all my dislikes. I'm going to get into my WTF moments now. So, first WTF moment, I just wrote Happy Gilmore's grandma, because this one character that works at this little hotel that they're staying at Hobbs End is she's Happy Gilmore's grandma in Happy Gilmore, and I was just like, oh snap, it's Happy Gilmore's grandma, and she's just has these like crazy dark circles going on, and she's just this like little cute old lady, but at the same time she's just extremely evil. And then her character actually gets into my second WTF moment. So she's just like, you know, trying to act like all like nonchalant, like nothing's going on. She has her effing husband under the table. He's just like naked. It's just this like 80-year-old man, naked old man, like under the table. She's like hiding him. She's about to kill him or something. I was just kind of like smiled. I'm like, why they got this naked 80-year-old man on the floor? Like, what the heck is going on? So that was definitely a WTF moment. And then my last WTF moment is, so when John Trent's in the cell, he like writes all these crosses all over, and they're saying that he did it with a crayon, and it's like the amount of crosses that he drew, like you could really, like the crayon would be used up, and then it's like all over his head and stuff. Like it looks like he did it with like ash or chalk. Like you can't write on your face with a crayon. Like I don't know. That was just like a little nitpick thing, but I mean that's my thing. I've been doing the WTF moments in these videos, so I just thought, I'm like, damn, like that must have been like a really big crayon, you know? Oh snap! But that's cool that they, you know, they gave him some arts and crafts supplies, like, you know, I don't know how did he even write if he's in a straitjacket. That's actually, I didn't even write this down, but that's the WTF moment. How are you gonna draw all these crosses on yourself and on the walls? I thought you were in a straitjacket, my boy. Like, your arms aren't even exposed, your hands aren't out. What was he writing with his gosh darn toes? I don't know. That's the biggest WTF moment. How did he write these crosses? Did Sutter Kane write them? Was it the monsters? I don't know. But anyways, it's too many. That just ruined the movie. That's just too big of a plot hole for me. How did he write on the walls while wearing a straitjacket? Come on, guys. What the F? That's amateur filmmaking right there. No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. That's pretty funny though. Little bonus WTF moment. You got what you know about that? You guys get a little bonus WTF moment. I didn't even write it down. That's just off the cuff. That's just, you know, off the fly right there. So pretty cool. But anyways, that's the last of my WTF moments, and I'm looking at my notes here. Looks like I went over everything that I wanted to talk about. So here's the deal. I'm going to give just my last couple thoughts. I think if you are a fan of John Carpenter, you know, this is worth checking out, because if you're like me with, you know, all these box sets and movie franchises and stuff, sometimes you just, if you like a movie franchise, you want to watch all the movies. If you like a director, you want to watch all their movies. So I would definitely say, if you're a fan of John Carpenter and you want to see a bunch of his movies, this is worth checking out, but don't get your hopes up. It's not one of John Carpenter's best movies in my opinion, but like I said, it's an okay time. It's a decent time. It's not gonna like knock your socks off, but if you're a fan of John Carpenter, I would still say check it out, but don't go in expecting it to be, you know, one of the best John Carpenter movies. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say about In the Mouth of Madness. Thank you all very much for watching. Peace out.